David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a pen from Montblanc, which is somewhat new. It's the latest release in their M series, and it is the Montblanc M Red Signature. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the special edition Montblanc M Red Signature, talk about what I care for, what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to Applebomb for the loan of this pen for review. The original Montblanc M was released a couple of years back. It's a pen made in partnership with the designer Mark Newson. Mark Newson is an Australian industrial designer who works in product design, furniture design, jewelry, and even aircraft cabin design. At about $3 million, his Lockheed lounge chair holds the record for the most expensive object sold by a living designer. This latest version of the M was created in an effort to support Red's fight to end AIDS. Every item purchased from the Montblanc M Red collection will see a €5 contribution to the Global Fund to support HIV and AIDS programs, which helps prevent HIV-positive mothers from passing the virus on to their babies. There are dozens of companies who have special versions of their products branded with Red, which in turn, like this pen, support the worthy causes, and there has been hundreds of millions of dollars raised. The pen arrives in this red box. These parentheses around the Montblanc name are part of Red's branding that you see on products from any participating company. Included in this box is the standard Montblanc use and care guide, and then also a standard Montblanc box as well. And inside here is the pen. Set this over here. This is the Montblanc M Red Signature. There are two versions of the M Red. There is a resin version, which is all red, and then there is this special edition model, which is made from a brushed palladium nickel. The name of the pen, M, refers to the first letter of the designer's first name, Mark Newson, as well as for Montblanc. Let's start by taking a look at the top of the cap. Right on top, it is engraved with the Montblanc Snowcap logo. I think it looks really nice there. Then we have the metal clip, which is a unique design for Montblanc and functions very well. I feel it helps give the pen more of a clean and modern look. The cap angles up at a fairly even angle, and there is no traditional cap band or branding in the midsection of the pen. The transition from the cap to the barrel is decently smooth. You can tell when looking up close at this pen, the brushed palladium nickel isn't completely smooth. There are small grooves encircling both the cap and the barrel, helping you to maintain a grip on this pen and preventing it from being a fingerprint magnet. The barrel is straight for about an inch or so before having an even taper to the end of the barrel, where we have the most distinguishing feature of this pen, which is the plateau, which is cut from the barrel and contains another engraved Snowcap logo. I've always liked the placement of this logo on the M series. It's something unique for Montblanc. And the end of the barrel is rounded. The cap snaps off. The capping mechanism is unique as well, and something that I care for. It snaps off, but it is also magnetic. You could feel the pull of the magnet when capping the pen. If you cap it gently, then you'll also need to snap it closed. But if you release the cap a bit early, then the attraction of the magnets will actually work past the snap and close the pen completely for you, kind of just like that. The coolest thing about this capping mechanism is that the attraction of the magnets work on both the horizontal and vertical axis. The benefit of this is that the magnet will always keep the clip aligned with the plateau. Minor alignment issues are one of my pet peeves, and I appreciate the pen which takes that into consideration. So you cap it a little bit off to one side and it turns around. If you cap it totally backwards, it automatically turns around. Now, this is a good example of something called poka-yoke, which is a useful tool in manufacturing and process improvement. It was developed by the car manufacturer Toyota, but it can be useful in just about any industry and is a key component of both Lean and Six Sigma. Poka-yoke is basically error-proofing. It's putting something in place that will prevent a user from making a mistake. A good example of this is when you're filling out a form online. There might be a certain required field, typically notated with a little red asterisk, but the system will not let you proceed until you've entered all of the required data. This cap is also a form of poka-yoke, since no matter what orientation you attach the cap, it will always revert to an aligned state, essentially preventing you from making an egregious alignment mistake. Okay, that is your Lean and Six Sigma lesson for the day. Once this cap is removed, you are presented with this rather stubbish 18 karat gold nib. It's branded with the Montblanc in parentheses and the red as an exponent. The nib is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, double broad, oblique medium, and oblique broad. And here's a look at this cool red resin feed. The section begins with a small groove utilized in the capping mechanism, and then the section slowly angles up, and the middle portion of this section contains a bit of red resin, which is the same resin the other version of this pen is completely made from. Right behind the resin, the section is engraved with Montblanc 5 times encircling the pen. And then there's a rather steep step up to the barrel. I feel the inclusion of the resin to this section was a good decision on this special edition model. The other Montblanc M models have a grooved section, but on this red one, that's not the case. In the absence of those grooves, a strictly metal section would have been exceedingly slick. So this resin really helps you maintain your grip. Since I typically grip my pens a little closer to the end of the section, this large step up really doesn't come into play for me. My grip rests on it a little bit, but not enough that it annoys me or makes my hold on the pen uncomfortable. The metal version of the M has quite a bit of heft to it, but I don't find it too heavy or uncomfortable. The cap does not post. Well, it physically does post, but it just kind of sits on there and it isn't secured. That's fine in this metal version because it weighs enough that you wouldn't want to add to it by including a metal cap. One of the biggest knocks against the Montblanc M is that it is a cartridge-only pen. It is marketed as such, and from my research, the resourceful pen community has not determined a converter solution for this pen. Montblanc utilizes standard international cartridges. The Montblanc branded ones fit best, but I have a generic cartridge in here right now that works just fine. On the Applebaum site, the Montblanc M Red Signature retails for a little over $1,300. The standard Montblanc M Red, the resin version, retails for around $550, and the original black version of the M sells for about $510. The M was an interesting addition to the Montblanc lineup. It has a sleek, modern look and a style which I like, but it also has a couple of polarizing features, mainly the inability to post the cap and then the cartridge-only restriction. Thanks again go out to Applebaum for the loan of this pen for review. There is a link in the notes below where you can check out this pen on their site. Now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Montblanc M Red Signature. In regard to a few other Montblanc pens, here it is with a 146, a 149, and then here it is with an Alfred Hitchcock. In regard to some non-Montblanc pens, here it is with a Sailor King of Pen Ebonite, a Pelikan M805, and a Pilot 823. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, here it is with the Custom Heritage 823, the Montblanc 149, and then finally the Pelikan M805. So here we go with the writing sample for the Montblanc. M. We'll actually do this the way they have marketed it. And this is going to be red and then signature. This is a fine 18 karat gold nib. And I find that this, actually the ink that I'm using here today is just a generic cartridge that I had. I didn't have any Montblanc cartridges. We'll just say this is a generic black. In regard to a writing sample, I find that this fine nib is fairly smooth and writes very decently. There was a couple of spots here where it had a little bit of a hard start, but that was more to the angle that I was holding it here as I'm doing this writing sample. I found this nib to be very pleasant, to have a decent flow to it, and have had no issues with it whatsoever. Montblanc makes some amazing nibs. Hardly anyone really complains about a Montblanc nib. The flow on it, I will say that it's more on the medium side as opposed to a fine side, so it is kind of on the medium side of fine. In regard to reverse writing, I find that it is a little bit sharp. And in regard to some fast writing, there's no issues whatsoever. So there we have the Montblanc M Red Signature. I think it's a very modern and classy looking pen, and it's a decent addition to the Montblanc lineup. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.